What if I told you that you could be eating well, sleeping fairly decently, even taking a handful of supplements every morning, and still be completely and utterly exhausted? Not because you're broken, not because something is deeply wrong, but because your body is running on empty in a way that maybe no one has ever talked to you about. Today, we're going to be talking about the foundation that holds everything else together. And I mean everything: your hormones, your energy, your sleep, your mood. I'm talking about minerals, and specifically the four that most women over 45 are chronically, quietly depleted in. Stick with me through today's video because at the end, I'm going to share a simple bedtime ritual that I give every single one of my clients. It takes about 5 minutes, and women tell me it changes their sleep within a week. Let's get into it. Welcome back to Reclaim Your Life Force. I'm Lynn, a holistic health practitioner with over 15 years of experience working at the intersection of nutritional endocrinology, traditional Chinese medicine, and Ayurveda. If you're new here, welcome. We are building a whole new understanding of women's energy together, week by week. We've spent the last several weeks talking about specific hormones: cortisol, thyroid, estrogen, insulin. Today, we're going one layer deeper. We're going to the mineral foundation that every single one of these hormonal conversations depends on. Because here's the truth: minerals are the spark plugs of your body. Without them, nothing fires correctly. Let's start with the four minerals I want every woman watching this to understand deeply: magnesium, sodium, potassium, and calcium. Now, you've heard these names before, but I want you to hear them differently today. Not as individual supplements on a shelf, but as an orchestra. The only they only make music when they're playing together in a balance. So magnesium is involved in over 300 enzymatic reactions to your body. 300. It regulates cortisol. It activates thyroid hormone at the cellular level. It's essential for progesterone production. It governs insulin sensitivity. It literally controls how much stress your nervous system can handle before it tips into overwhelm. And the journal Nutrients reports in a study that magnesium deficiency remains common worldwide. The study went on to say population level deficiency remains a persistent and unrecognized public health challenge. If you are a woman in perimenopause or menopause, studies show that these numbers are even higher because estrogen helped you retain magnesium. And as estrogen shifts, magnesium walks right out the door. Let's look at sodium. I know what you're thinking. Sodium? Isn't that the bad guy? Here's what I want you to understand. Sodium from whole, unrefined sources is not the enemy. It is absolutely essential for adrenal function, for fluid regulation, for the electrical signals that fire every nerve and every heartbeat. Low quality, Overprocessed sodium, yes, that's a problem. But women who are chronically stressed and running on high cortisol are actually dumping sodium through their urine faster than they can replenish it. This is where the traditional Chinese medicine connection fits naturally. In Chinese medicine, salty foods in small therapeutic amounts are said to nourish the kidney system, which governs our deepest reserves of vitality. Potassium. Potassium is sodium's dance partner. They work in a constant push-pull relationship to maintain the electrical charge inside every cell. When potassium is low, your cells literally lose their charge. ATP production, that's your cellular energy currency, slows down. Your heart rhythm can become irregular. Your blood pressure climbs. And you feel that bone deep heaviness that no amount of sleep seems to fix. And then there's calcium, which most of us associate only with bones. But calcium is also deeply involved in muscle contraction, in nerve transmission, and in the secretion of hormones from your endocrine glands. The issue most women run into is that they supplement calcium in isolation, big doses, often without magnesium and vitamin K2. And that calcium ends up in arteries instead of bones. Magnesium and calcium must be balanced. They compete for absorption. They regulate each other, and they need to be considered together. So the key principle here is when one of these four minerals gets out of balance, the others follow. Mineral depletion is never just one thing. It's a cascade. And that cascade shows up in your hormones, your energy, and your mood. So how did we get here? Why are so many women walking around profoundly mineral depleted? It's a perfect storm, honestly. And I want to walk you through it so you stop blaming yourself. Modern industrial farming has stripped our topsoil of minerals over the past 50 to 70 years. The vegetables you eat today contain a fraction of the magnesium and potassium they contained a generation ago. You can eat a healthy diet and still be depleted simply because the food you're eating grew up in depleted soil. And then there's the stress strain. Every time your body mounts a stress response, every cortisol spike, every adrenaline surge, you excrete magnesium and potassium through your urine. If you've been under chronic stress for years, which most of my clients have been, you have been draining your mineral tank daily. And the tank never gets refilled from food sources alone anymore. Then there's caffeine, sugar, and processed foods. Caffeine accelerates the excretion of magnesium, calcium, and potassium. Refined sugar depletes magnesium with every blood sugar spike your body manages. If you're someone who runs on coffee and convenience foods, which again, most exhausted women are, because exhausted women don't have the energy to cook 3 elaborate meals, you are compounding the depletion daily. And then perimenopause hits. Estrogen, among its many jobs, helped your cells retain magnesium. As estrogen begins to fluctuate and eventually decline, your cells lose that retention advantage. So you're already depleted from years of stress and dietary insufficiency. And now you've lost one of your key mineral retention mechanisms. Low magnesium elevates cortisol. Elevated cortisol suppresses progesterone. Low progesterone worsens estrogen dominance. And estrogen dominance creates more inflammation, more fatigue, more sleep disruption. It's a cycle that feeds itself, and minerals are the key to breaking it. In the Ayurvedic framework, this level of depletion is called pranakshaya, a depletion of vital life force at the cellular level. The channels or srotas become empty and vata begins to run wild through them, creating that frantic yet exhausted quality so many of us know so well. Okay, let's get practical because that's what you're here for. You cannot supplement your way out of a depleted life, but targeted, intelligent mineral replenishment is absolutely something you can do starting today. So, food sources first. Here are the foods I want you thinking about every single day. For magnesium, dark leafy greens, spinach, Swiss chard, beet greens. Pumpkin seeds are one of the highest food sources. Dark chocolate, at least 70% cacao, avocado, black beans, almonds. For sodium, and I want to be very clear here, we are talking about Celtic sea salt or Himalayan pink salt, real salt with trace minerals intact, not iodized table salt. Add a pinch to your morning water. Use it liberally on whole foods. Bone broth is another excellent source. For potassium, sweet potato is my absolute favorite. Coconut water, white beans, lentils, avocado. Yes, avocado shows up twice on this list, which is why I call it the mineral superfood. Banana is the well-known one, but sweet potato actually has significantly more potassium. For calcium, rather than reaching for dairy first, I want you thinking about sardines with the bones, one of the most bioavailable calcium sources on earth. Kale, bok choy, broccoli, sesame seeds, and tahini. These food form calciums compared with the cofactors your body needs to actually use them. So for supplementation, and I always recommend working with a practitioner for your specific situation, here are the general principles I use in my practice. Magnesium glycinate is my first line recommendation for most women. It's highly bioavailable, it's gentle on the digestive system, and it has a wonderful calming effect on the nervous system. Magnesium threonate is another excellent option. It's the form that actually crosses the blood-brain barrier. So it's especially helpful if brain fog and memory issues are part of your picture. Please avoid magnesium oxide. It's the cheapest form. It's in most drugstore supplements, and it's so poorly absorbed that it mostly just gives you an upset stomach. For electrolytes, sodium and potassium together. I love a simple morning drink. Filtered water, a generous pinch of Celtic sea salt, a squeeze of lemon, and optionally a tiny bit of cream of tartar, which is a concentrated potassium source. Or you can use quality electrolyte products without artificial sweeteners. This before your morning coffee is genuinely life-changing for adrenal depleted women. Calcium. I am a food first advocate here. If you're going to supplement, keep doses small, 500 milligrams maximum at one time, and always pair it with vitamin K2 and D3 to ensure it goes to your bones and not your arteries. And separate it from your magnesium supplement by several hours because they compete for absorption. In Chinese medicine, the foods I just described, especially the dark mineral-rich greens and the salty mineral-dense foods, are specifically indicated for what we call kidney yin and kidney jing deficiency. This is the deepest constitutional exhaustion, the kind that comes from years of overgiving without replenishing. Sound familiar? And now, my absolute favorite part of this conversation. This is something I teach every single woman in my practice, and the feedback I get is consistent and beautiful. Better sleep, less 3 a.m. waking, calmer mornings. I call it the Bedtime Magnesium Ritual, and it's simple enough to do even when you're exhausted. So let's talk about this 5-minute evening reset. About 30 to 60 minutes before you want to be asleep, do these things. First, take your magnesium glycinate. 200 to 400 milligrams is a typical range. Start on the lower end if you're new to it. Take it with a small amount of food or a warm drink. Second, if you have magnesium oil or magnesium body lotion, apply it now to your legs, to your feet, the backs of your knees. Transdermal magnesium bypasses the digestive system entirely. So it's wonderful for women who have any kind of gut sensitivity. The skin absorbs it beautifully. Third, make yourself a cup of mineral-rich tea. I love chamomile as the base. It has its own GABA activating properties. A tiny pinch of Celtic sea salt in the tea. And if you love cacao, a teaspoon of raw cacao powder dissolved in hot water is absolutely luxurious and gives you an additional hit of magnesium. Add a little honey if you like. Sip slowly. Fourth, while you're sipping, do legs up the wall for 5 minutes. This yoga posture, it's called Viparita Karani, gently shifts your nervous system from sympathetic to parasympathetic. It drains tension from your legs, calms your adrenals, and signals to your body that it is safe to rest. And fifth, and this is optional but powerful, spend 2 or 3 minutes in what I call a body appreciation practice. Not gratitude in the generic sense, specific appreciation for your physical body, your heart that is kept beating through every hard day, your lungs, your hands, your remarkable hormonal system that is working so hard to recalibrate. Here's why this ritual works physiologically. Magnesium activates your GABA receptors. GABA is your brain's primary calming neurotransmitter. It lowers cortisol, which allows melatonin to rise naturally. It relaxes your muscles, which is why it helps with restless legs and the tension headaches so many perimenopausal women experience. And overnight, magnesium is actively involved in progesterone synthesis. You are literally building hormones in your sleep when you support your magnesium levels. In Chinese medicine, the evening hours belong to the yin, the cooling, inward, nourishing force. The kidney meridian governs our deepest vitality, and it appreciates warmth, stillness, and deliberate nourishment in these hours. This ritual is an act of reclaiming your yin. So here's just kind of the ritual summary at an audible glance. 1. Magnesium glycinate, 200 to 400 milligrams with a warm drink. 2. Magnesium oil or lotion on legs and feet. 3. Your mineral tea, chamomile plus sea salt plus an optional raw cacao. 4. Legs up the wall, 5 minutes. 5. Body appreciation practice, 2 to 3 minutes. Minerals are not glamorous. They don't have the marketing power of the latest adaptogen or the newest hormone balancing supplement. But I promise you, they are the foundation. And you cannot build a stable hormonal life on a cracked and depleted foundation. This week, I want you to start with one thing: the morning electrolyte drink and the bedtime magnesium ritual. Just those two. See how your body responds, and then come tell me. Leave a comment below. Which of these 4 minerals do you think you're most deficient in? I genuinely read every single one. I've created a companion mineral foundation guide to go with this video. The link is in the description. It has all of the food sources, supplement recommendations, and the full ritual written out so you can take it into your evenings. If this resonates and you want to go much deeper, to look at your specific mineral patterns, your hormonal picture, your unique constitutional blueprint from both a scientific and a traditional medicine perspective, I would love to have you inside the Life Force Reclamation Program. The link for that is also in the description. Until next week, nourish your foundation. You deserve to be replenished. I'll see you soon.